self.
The Messiah.
Isn't that something? And it's so true with us as well, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to get honor and respect in your own house sometimes.
I don't know, Carla, is it because you know me so well you don't honor me as much?
You shouldn't, John. Everybody should be honored, and the respect factor comes in your position. Because with us, you're no longer just my little brother.
Okay.
You're the CEO of Golden Gate
Well,
Funeral
that's a good
Home.
thing. I appreciate
Exactly.
that.
So you have to give that respect and honor.
Pastor Pace, what do you think about that when you think of that? When you think of people not being honored in their own home, or Jesus himself going back to his home and not being honored, what do you think of that?
Well, I think that's disrespect when you don't honor people in their own home. I think that would be disrespect.
What do you think, Queen, when you think of someone that you're with every day, or someone that I get the opportunity to see? Let's say if you were there with President Obama every day, would you give him as much honor as you would if you saw him for the first time?
I don't think so, and I think that's what happens to us in our families. We kind of just start taking each other for granted.
Right.
And we don't really appreciate each other the way we should, and therefore we don't honor each other the way we should.
I tell you, Pastor Biden, John Beckwith Sr. walks through the funeral home, and I think a lot of people are just awed. They say, oh my God, that's John Beckwith Sr. himself, the founder, the owner of Golden Gate Funeral Home. You think sometimes we take him for granted because he's dad?
Well, I believe sometimes we do, Jim. I've been around him, might as well say, all my life.
Exactly.
But there's never a moment when he walks in, I don't say, hey, Dad. It used to be Mr. Beckwith, but now I have much love and respect for him as a father in my life.
Okay.
So I call him Dad when I see him.
I understand.
Yeah.
Now, Queen of Pre-Nate, what would be your duty? As we talk about duty and honor, what would be your duty as a mother, as a grandmother, as a Queen of Pre-Nate? What's your duty?
I have a duty, first of all, as a Christian, to live an upright life and to be an example to those that are before me or that are watching me, my children, my grandchildren, my peers. And then I also have a duty and an obligation to take care of my family. Even though I have adult children, I make sure that they're covered with life insurance and pre-need arrangements. I also make sure, too, since I am financially able, if they get in a crunch, I'm obligated, I think, to help them.
Isn't that something? She said she's obligated to help the CFO. Since we're talking about finance, I'm going to jump right to you.
Once they're grown, John, I don't feel obligated to those children. I teach them how to use their money wisely. But some of my duties, of course, is as Chief Financial Officer. And that's to make sure that Golden Gate Funeral Home is always taken care of.
Exactly.
That our employees are paid on time, that all of our vendors.
Right.
And to make sure that operations daily are taken care of and done, that there can't be anything that's missed.
That comes with the duty. And a lot of people say, to whom much is given,
Much is required.
much is required.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for.
That is so right. You know, I have a moral and a legal obligation.
Okay.
You know, part of my duties are to take care of my family, provide for them, make sure that they are provided for. That's my legal obligation.
Okay.
But my moral obligation is to make sure they have something in place like life insurance or pre-need insurance just in case something happens. And another one of my duties is to provide knowledge to different families.
Exactly.
Through selling pre-need or Ask the Undertaker show, the radio or the TV, to reach out to the families out there.
That is your duty.
Part of my duty.
I like that. Pastor Body, you carry a big hat. You're pastor of a church and as well as a part of the funeral home. What were some of the duties that come with that?
Well, first and foremost, like Ms. Abrams said, as a child of God, my duty is to walk upright before the Lord and before the people of God. And as their pastor, I'm obligated to teach them the Word of God and be the example of what a Christian should be and how Christians should conduct themselves at all times. But as a husband and a father, I'm obligated to provide for my family, to provide a safe environment for the children in my household.
Legally and
legally
morally?
and morally.
Okay.
Yes, sir, legally and morally.
All right.
Because if I don't get up and make sure they go to school, they're going to come after me.
That's true.
That's legal.
That's the truancy law.
That's the truancy law, and I don't need them messing with me. I did my time in school.
Now it's your kids' time to do their
They got to
time.
do they got to serve that time in school and walk them dusty halls. But the duty, I thank God for it. I wouldn't trade in for nothing in the world. Every now and then you hit a bump in the road. I hit a bump in the road, but I thank God that He's able to get me around the bump.
Exactly. Carolyn, what do you think our duty as undertakers? We know in America, we don't just leave our dead on the side, and we don't do mass graves in America. We actually take care of our dead.
That we do. And our job, John, on this show and in our profession is to make sure that families understand that as well as your duty and your obligation is to take care of your family members by providing insurance pre-need and to be there for them. Ask them questions. Ask them the hard questions. And we are here to give you the hard questions to ask because you may not know.
Exactly.
So we are here to answer those for you, to give them to you so you can take forth and ask your family, call us, have them call us so that we can take care of you at the time that you need us.
Right.
Mr. Becker, but I also have an obligation as a pre-need licensed agent to make sure that I take care of my families and I give them what they can afford. Even though I'm getting paid on a commission, it's not my duty to sell them the highest funeral services just to make more money, but it's my obligation to help the families and to serve them with honesty and
Right.
dignity, and then to tell them the truth.
And something they can afford. I heard
Right.
you say that. That's the
Something that
most
they can
important thing.
afford.
Exactly.
Keep
to
everybody
keep.
within their budget,
That's
regardless
right.
what your budget is. Because, of course, we have $30,000 services, but as well as we have a $3,000 service.
That's right.
So hopefully we have something for
Everybody.
everybody. That's the key. I like that, do that obligation. Pastor, well, we know there's a federal, there's a state, county, as well as city legal obligation to take care of the dead.
Right.
Should we have to allow the government to take care of our families, or is that our duty?
That's our duty, Brother John.
Okay.
They're our loved ones. They're our family. They're our next of kin. We should be honored to be able to take care of the final disposition of our loved ones. We shouldn't have to rely on a stranger to take care of our loved ones, and we never know what happened to the body. We never can go to the graveyard and put flowers down. We cannot even, if they have to cremate the body, we can't even ask for the cremains back.
Right.
In other words, when they have to step in and take charge, the family has nothing else to do. You can't even get a death certificate.
And a lot of times people will say, well, they'll do something with my body. Just give me to the county. Just throw me in the backyard, Carolyn.
People say that all the time, but you have
Okay.
to have more respect for yourself than to do that and to do it to your family. And whereas we live in a great country, and John, this country should not be the ones that take care of their citizens. They show us, they give us all of these avenues. They gave us this show, gave us this opportunity to tell people how to take care of your loved ones. And don't let the government just step in and take over. They're not obligated. They set some things in place so you'll know, but we are obligated to take care of our families.
Now, what do you think the best way to get that done, King, without having the government step in and do a government burial?
I would have to say pre-planning.
Okay.
Pre-planning or taking out life insurance is a lot of different ways that you could plan a funeral. And one of them is with the pre-need insurance, where we sit down in the comfort of your home, or you can come into the funeral home and we can show you something that's affordable for you and your family. We won't just sell you anything. We'll sit down and let you make the decisions what you want.
That's right. We give you all of your options, from cremation all the way down to an elaborate funeral, if that's what you want.
And King, they can walk right in Fort Worth Funeral Home, right there
They
on
can
5701,
walk
right there on Loop
in
820.
Fort Worth. Yes, definitely.
And you're sitting right there waiting on them.
Waiting on them to come.
And Queen, you sit right there in Dallas, Texas, right there at Golden Gate Funeral Home.
Every day.
Just walk on in, and you can
Every
meet the
day.
Queen, that person you see on TV every Sunday morning,
right.
every Saturday night.
And you know what we've been doing this week, what I've been doing this week? I've been calling churches.
Okay.
We're setting up seminars where we can come in and speak to pastors with congregations. You know, we'll sit down and we'll come in and do the Ask the Undertaker. You know,
We can do it right there at your church.
At your church. You can ask all the questions that you want.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, is honor important, Pastor Biden? We know we have a duty, we have an obligation we spoke of. What about honor? It's not just, I'm just not going to throw my loved one away.
No, honor is very important, Brother John.
Okay.
It's very, very important. We need to honor our dead as well as our living,
Okay.
especially the dead, because you should have enough respect for that person. Regardless of what kind of lifestyle they lived or how they treated you, you still should have enough respect to want to have a decent final disposition for that loved one. Instead of, as we often hear people say, just throw them on the side, put them in a box, and just let the county bury them. We shouldn't have that kind of attitude. I believe if a person lived their life, regardless of how they lived, they are due a decent burial. And that's why it's important that we honor them and the best that we can and the best that we can afford to. Don't even try to honor them by keeping up with the Joneses if you don't have the Joneses' money.
Right. Because you're not the Joneses.
That's
you are who you are.
You are. Stay
you
within
may be
your
the
budget.
Johnsons.
That's it.
Or the Beckwiths, so whoever you are. I like that. And what comes to mind when I think of honor, I always think of the military, and I think about the 21-gun salute when we're at the national cemeteries, and I think
Beautiful.
about the unknown soldier, the way it's protected and guarded, and the 21 steps that they take, and the 21 seconds that they hesitate, and the ultimate salute they give the soldiers. What do you think about that?
And how often do they do that? Do they do that like 24
It
hours a day?
is 24 hours a day, 365 days
That's
a year.
amazing.
Yeah, it really it is something to watch. It's amazing how much honor you would give to a soldier that we don't even know.
Right.
It's called the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Now, if
Now,
I would
that's
give
honor.
that much respect to somebody I don't know, how much respect should I give to somebody I do know, Carol?
You should give the utmost respect to the people that you do know
Okay.
and that you love. Sometimes you don't like what people do, and you don't like some things their families do, but you still have to care enough about them. And as Reverend Body just stated, respect them enough, even if they don't respect themselves. And in life, show them that you respect them by trying to help them to take care of this final hour. Because as we stated, and as we know, as Christians and everybody else, it's once appointed that we are all going to die.
We're gonna die.
Unless
Even if
God
you're Christian
comes
or
back
not, you're
first.
gonna die.
You're going to die.
Okay.
So we need to take care of that final arrangement because it's going to occur. And don't, even if you don't care that much about yourself, care enough about somebody else, that nobody else has to take care of your final arrangements.
What is one of the highest honor you think you can give a person, King Capri?
I think one of the highest honors you can give a person is give them a decent burial.
Okay.
Give them a decent burial, and that's an act of love.
I like that.
Leave them a legacy.
What do you think about that, Queen? What are the highest honors you think you can do for someone?
I think the highest honor is to show them respect.
Okay.
And as
I
Mr.
like that. Show respect.
To show them respect and dignity. I mean,
Dignity and respect,
And
y'all.
respect.
That's a high honor, Carol.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I think you should also praise the person. And I think you should praise them while they're here. So they know, even though, again, as I stated, they don't care about themselves, they know that somebody does. And then it gives them an inner feeling that I need to do this for me as well. That person respects me enough and care enough to talk to me, to show me, to even take my hand and take me to the funeral home, call the Queen and the King so I can get this done. So praise them, talk to them, love them, tell them the truth.
appreciate them.
And appreciate them while they're
Right, while
alive
they're
as
alive
well
and
as
living, right.
when
Once
they
they
pass
pass
away.
away.
Pastor Bob, I think about the sacred grounds, as we call cemeteries. They're not
Right.
just grounds, but they're sacred grounds. And we
Right,
kind of
right.
picked it up from Native Americans, how important it was that certain places you don't walk on, you don't touch. There's certain things that you give reverence to.
Right.
If a burial site should be sacred grounds, that should tell me that the person that was put in it must have been sacred to me, or someone I gave reverence to. How do you feel about it? Because we call you Reverend. How you think about that word reverence when you think of someone?
Well, it's really just a great deal of respect.
Okay.
And I feel any man that carries the gospel of Jesus Christ is due that respect. Even as we read in the scripture, Christ said that when he got to his own, they didn't honor him, but everywhere else he was honored. And that's how it is in most cases. Some folk don't want to honor you because they know you.
And that's something, they know you.
They know you.
And not what God is using you.
Not what's in you. But yeah, sacred ground, there are some things that we really should just be off limits. Some things you just shouldn't do. I consider the funeral home itself as a sacred place.
Exactly.
Because it houses people's loved ones.
That's right.
There shouldn't just any and everything. The church is a sacred place.
Right.
You just can't let any and everything go on and come out of your mouth in the church because of its Christ's bride. You have to be careful. A cemetery is a sacred place because there are Christian rituals that take place there on those grounds. You have people, loved ones buried there. You have pastors, preachers. You have a lot of things, a lot of people that are buried in those grounds that are very sacred to people. The communion table. in the church.
You wouldn't dare touch it at Mount Rose.
You cannot touch that. You can't put nothing on that table.
Yeah.
And it is so sacred. And so there are some things that are sacred that we